People ask why I'm running for governor, and I say that we're at a crossroads. And we have two roads to go on right now, where these roads diverge. I think we're on a road right now that sees fewer and fewer people making bigger and bigger decisions that affect all of us. I think it's a road where we've seen one-party rule for nearly 20 years. It's a road where a handful of the politically influential and wealthy allies who are dedicated to influencing them. I think that's a road that does little for the good government that I espouse for and the transparent government that I think best serves North Dakota. I often read and quote the cowboy philosopher and rope spinner Will Rogers. That shouldn't be a surprise to you, I suppose. Will Rogers is the guy that said, you know, we're all ignorant, just on different subjects. And I know when you get such a small group in a room of those who lead and influence the government, when you get such a small group together, they're bound to be ignorant on some of the subjects that matter a lot to everyone else in North Dakota. The broadest number of people in North Dakota that know much about the subjects that they don't know about. So I'm on a path, the other one, that has every voice being heard. They come from every corner of the state. They come from every age group, young to old. Every gender, every economic status. You know, it's an inclusive idea, not exclusive, and it's the path I run on today to be the people's governor of North Dakota. We know that good ideas and insights come from anywhere, and they'll come from citizens at the grassroots level. And I believe that's where we'll find the ideas and insights that lead to a better quality of life for all of North Dakota. I believe this will be an election when we decide whose North Dakota this is. Is it a North Dakota where we take advantage of our God-given resources, or one where we let others take advantage of us? Is it a North Dakota that takes on the big challenges and looks for the next great opportunity? Or is it a North Dakota that's a step behind and afraid to act, to seize the day, and do the right thing for all the people of our state? Our future quality of life in North Dakota is going to hinge on two things. One, how we manage and balance the extraction of oil in western North Dakota. And two, how we then prioritize and sow the seeds of wealth that come from that one-time harvest for the entire state. The way we manage and balance the oil boom matters to all of North Dakota because we're all connected. And not one of us would want to break the spirit of any one of our communities in a mad dash for oil. Our approach to oil development matters across eastern North Dakota because sustainable oil production and sustainable oil revenues influence the support for our colleges and universities like NDSU, like UND, where I spoke earlier this morning. It influences the ability to provide middle-income tax relief for the hardworking families in North Dakota. It influences the needs of communities that have been flooded, and we know they've been many, and those who need permanent protection from flooding, like here in Fargo. To do right by the East, we must get it right in the West, because we're all in this together. It's one thing to applaud the low unemployment and the growing GDP in North Dakota, but it reminds me of the Robert Kennedy quote about gross national product. And Robert Kennedy said on GNP, he said it measures everything, except that which makes life worthwhile. It tells us everything about America, except why we are proud to be Americans. And now in our state, the low unemployment and the growing GDP are certainly great, but it says little about what actually makes life worthwhile in North Dakota, or why we are proud to be North Dakotans. And when the revenue from oil has healed the wounds of the place from where it has come, we must invest our one-time harvest of oil in ways that ensure a lasting harvest for our entire state. Let's have everyone participate in this lasting harvest plan for our state for the next 20 years and the coming generations. Let's figure out together what we want our state to look like and be like when the landscape is quiet again, as our friend Art Link would say. And let's put policies in place to ensure that that happens. One lasting harvest idea I will put forward is a substantial investment in the education and betterment of our children and grandchildren. When the state of Wyoming was looking for an investment for their oil and gas receipts, they invested in the Hathaway Scholarship, ensuring Wyoming students an affordable and attainable education at Wyoming's colleges. We're positioned to do the same in North Dakota. And as the people's governor, I would step to the bully pulpit and ask that we invest in a lasting harvest scholarship for North Dakota families and college students, because I know if they can do it in the cowboy state of Wyoming, we can do it in the Rough Rider state of North Dakota, and we can do it better. As this campaign moves forward, we'll share a vision for the quality of life that invests in our children, a resource that I know is even more valuable than oil. One that cares for our elders, who we don't want to see displaced from their homes, either by increasing rents or escalating property taxes or a shortage of the right kind of health care in their homes. One that takes a long view of our landscape with the realization that we're only borrowing this land from our children and our grandchildren. And one that stands tall for all North Dakotans, no matter your status, your position, or the size of your bank account. I've spent my entire life in North Dakota. I've been to every county. I've worked with people in every corner of the state at the ground level in a whole variety of capacities and careers. I've looked at North Dakota as a state senator where I've spent 9 years trying to craft good policy for the everyday hardworking people and families of North Dakota. I'm about as grassroots as they come. And as a cattle rancher, I not only wear a hat, I also know a little about how important the roots are to the grass. I know my roots have made a difference in how I'll lead the state. I was raised on, and I have the honor and responsibility of continuing a homestead ranch that began in 1903 with just 160 acres granted in the administration of Teddy Roosevelt. The only reason the ranch is still there today is because of two strong women who chose not to sell the cattle, who chose not to sell the land, after all 3 men on that ranch died from a series of tragedies. The loss left 2 widows, 2 little boys, a newborn baby girl, out on the unforgiving prairie. And through that story, I learned respect for independent women in North Dakota and the sacrifices that they made to raise those little kids through the Depression and keep a ranch that I know could have easily been sold off to the highest bidder. I'm part of the first generation in either family to get a full college education right here at our public land grant university, NDSU. Go Bison! I'm a product of our state's public school system in a rural school district where I was the first one on the bus in the morning and the last one off at night. But most importantly, I'm the product of a loving mother and father who didn't have much money to share with my siblings and me, but they shared something much more valuable, their time and lessons for living. Those lessons: work hard, take responsibility, help your neighbors, take care of the land, show kindness to children and your elders, be tolerant and compassionate to your fellow man and your fellow woman. We learned in my world that there are things in life worth more than money: family, heritage, faith, your community. So that's me. A lot of North Dakotans know me from my column, if they've read it these years. Still others know me from the arena of public policy and my service in the state Senate. And from that service, I've seen the best and the worst of politics, from good legislation to bad redistricting. And though I understand politics, I'm not running for governor because I like politics. I'm running for governor because I love North Dakota. I love North Dakota, and I want us to chart a course for the future that keeps all that which has made this state great and special, while making the bold plans for the future that will make our grandchildren proud of the job we did today and in our time. So that's the path we'll be on. And we'll be running on that path all across this state. And on some occasions, we'll be running it in the most literal sense. In a couple weeks, I'm running the Iceman Triathlon in Grand Forks. Run, bike, and ski. Or depending on the weather, run, bike, and run. Because even though my grandpa on my mother's side, they immigrated from Norway and we're skiers at heart, it's hard to ski on dirt, we know that. We'll be in Fargo in May to run the Fargo Marathon, 26.2, literally running to be your governor. We'll be at other races across the state, because when I say I'm running for governor, I mean it. And we may use up a couple pair of tennis shoes in the process, maybe at least one pair of cowboy boots. But we look forward to the race. We look forward to debating the future of the state and to meeting all the people we possibly can and to using this special moment of time in North Dakota's history to do the greatest good for the greatest number of people. And if I'm elected governor, the people's governor, will do just that. Thank you so much for joining us today.